fine. When you guys are seeing the screen, tell me no. Let me know. So yeah, guys. So today the talk's about it's about the thing that all developers fear the most: CSS. So just kidding, but
That's right.
The reason why I chose this topic, well, first Maya mentioned that we have a lot of React developers here, so that's good. Talking a little bit more about myself. My name's Arthur. I'm currently working on the Fox project inside of X team. I'm a backend engineer for the past 8 to 9 years, and I've also worked a lot with some front-end projects as well. So I would like to say that I'm a full stack engineer, but as the title says, I have zero design skills. Like I have an inability of doing pretty things by myself, and my live streams are fun because usually they are like 90% me suffering with CSS and all that. And thinking about that, I brought the topic that's about one tool that's been that's raising the popularity a lot nowadays. It's called TailWindCSS. From everybody that's on the chat, who already used it before?
Tailwind CSS, yeah, the utility class, right?
Yes.
Oh, already, yeah, I've used it.
Okay, so
it basically helps. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
There are people that's not familiar of Tailwind CSS, and that's totally not a problem. That's actually like great if there's people that are not familiar with it.
Sure, I'm not familiar with it. Yep.
Okay, great. So Tailwind CSS, it's basically CSS framework. So let's say that. And you guys would know a lot. Oh, let me just change the scene here because we are going to be showing some things here. So you guys know about Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap dominated the tech world for a while. And Bootstrap was great, was really good. And the thing that Bootstrap had...
Mute?
Hey guys, hey,
you're
muted yourself.
Oh, I don't know why. Okay, sorry. So the thing that Bootstrap had at his favor, it was really easy to do simple things, and that really popularized a lot about who should have access to those assets. And the idea behind it was to basically have like standardized components that would be replicated, and that would be like easy to use on your project. So in that way, a backend engineer like myself, or a person that has an ability of doing pretty things like myself, would be able to do a pretty presentable application and website. And knowing about that, we basically started using it, and it was great. But we had some issue that arose with it. Anybody wants to expand on that? Because I know that a lot of people have like different opinions on Bootstrap. But the reason I think it's basically a consensus. So anybody wants to like try their shot on what was the biggest problem with Bootstrap?
Split grid, I don't like. I don't know.
Yeah.
The conflicting with other CSS files, that's a problem I have all the time.
Yeah, those are technical problems, but I'm saying about a more broader problem. And the problem was that every single website that used Bootstrap looked like a site that used Bootstrap. So we standardized. We basically standardized all of the applications going around it, and that was, as I said, that was good because it was inclusive, but it also was hard because at the end of the Bootstrap golden era, a lot of the time the developers was trying to debunk Bootstrap. Was like, oh, I want to do something different, and then you would basically like rewrite Bootstrap by its entirety. And that's the thing that the guys from TailWindCSS tackled on a really good manner. Because Tailwind, it's a framework, and let me bring that up here for you guys. So let me go to the official page and have it here on the screen. So Tailwind basically is a framework that's well, we can actually take their take on it, but they don't have like a really good wording on it. So Tailwind, it's basically it's not a component level component framework. Tailwind is really low to ground level CSS framework. So the idea behind it is they took a lot of really good designers, and for whoever that's arriving on the call right now and they are not seeing anything, I'm streaming on the link that's on the chat. So if you guys want to join. So basically the idea behind it was they took a lot of people that are really good with design, and they said, hey, let's do standards. Let's basically take everything that you need to interact with CSS, and let's standardize it. Let's make it look professional. Let's make it look good. And that was really fun. That was really great. So you guys can see here on this example that basically when you use Tailwind, you have a lot of like a lot of classes, and this can be a little worrisome for some. But as you guys can see here, basically this component on the left here, it's built using. Oh, let me just increase this like this. So this component on the left here is built using Tailwind with those classes. So the idea is I'm gonna be setting standards for the most used CSS properties, and we are gonna be doing all that through our HTML layer. So that seems fun, right? That seems good because I don't need to do the designing myself. I still need to know what I want to do, and I have that freedom, and that's why the framework is so powerful, because you have the freedom of doing whatever you want without having to have the sense of how much would you be doing about that specific property. Okay, so that's the preface of that. So that's the tool that we are going to be talking about right now, because I think that this tool here is going to take over. It's already taking over the industry right now, but it's getting more and more momentum, and I think it's going to be the next big standard that a lot of people are going to be using. So yeah, that's basically what Tailwind CSS is. So as you guys can see, we basically are importing a CSS file that has pre-composed CSS classes, and those classes are going to be used on our application. Okay, but Tailwind is better than that. So my proposal here is the following. I constructed a really basic application here. So as I said, you guys are probably going to be way better developers than myself. So let's spin this up, right? So I'm going to be starting this here. This application, I really, sorry guys, but this week was really like a really full week for me. So it was hard to dedicate that much time of doing a really fancy application, and as you guys are probably better than me on that, so it wouldn't be worth it. But the idea here is the following. We're using the GitHub public API, and if I type here a username, I'm gonna be basically fetching the information of that user, and it's gonna be shown down here. Pretty simple, right? So let's take a look at it. So I know that there's some people there they're not gonna be front end heavy, and that's not a problem. I'm gonna try to be as descriptive as possible. Okay. The idea here is not to talk about React in depth, because that's a way broader talk. But just for you guys, the idea is that that specific structure is what we are gonna be using to try to make this look a little better using Tailwind. Okay. So that's the idea for today. Anybody has any question right now?
Yes, I have maybe a comment. Can you
Zoom
please
on,
increase the font?
Yeah, that's right. Already did it. That's better right now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, that's basically it. And let's start. So the idea here is to use Tailwind with anything, actually. You have some options, but the best option to use it with a framework, with a library like React, or with a framework if you're using like with Next, Vue, Vuex, is the idea that we are gonna be basically pre-composing our CSS after it going live. Okay, so the idea is pretty simple, but let's bootstrap it to use it. Okay, so here on the get started, we can go here, or we can look for TailWindCSS React. It's usually the dev way of doing things, Googling it. So it's saying here that I need to install these dependencies. I already did that just in case, just because I don't know, I didn't know how my internet connection would be. And here they're telling us to use Krakow. Okay, so what Krakow is gonna be doing is basically doing the post CSS override and allowing that first. Okay, so every time React rebuilds, it's gonna be basically doing a rebuild of the final CSS file. And that's one of the key points of this tool. So I'm gonna be basically changing then on our script. I don't know if I did, no, I didn't do that right before. So I'm gonna be basically here taking for all of those. Oh, sorry about that, fat fingers. And here we are gonna be using Krakow that we installed. Okay, so that's gonna let us rebuild that CSS. And to say here that we need to create a krakow.config file. That's gonna be basically telling Krakow that we are gonna be using Tailwind and that we are gonna be using autoprefixer. Okay, so this is pretty much like configuration thing. So you're gonna be just doing here. You're gonna be krakow.config.js. And you're going to be pasting this here, saving it, and we are good to go. And yeah, that's basically what we need from the React side to be able to properly use Tailwind. And then we are going to be installing Tailwind and using it CLI to basically init it. I already have it, so I'm going to be, let me bring up my terminal here, and I'm going to be stopping this. And I'm going to be doing yarn Tailwind CSS init. Okay, pretty standard. So this is going to be generating a config file for Tailwind for us. Okay, and this config file has some things that are already a really good thing of using a tool like this. Okay, the better thing for me is this field here, the purge. Okay, the idea of purge is with CSS frameworks, one of the other problems that we usually had were we had a lot of boilerplate coming with those frameworks, right? We had a lot of different classes, a lot of configuration that was there that you usually were not using. So they had like different approaches on solving this. Usually the better approach was like, oh, we are gonna be separating our framework into different sub-frameworks. Like we are gonna have a components file. We are gonna have a fonts file. We're gonna have a text file, and that's cool. That's fine. But that's a lot of hassle having to import all of those. And maybe you're gonna be using just one property of one of those files. What do you do about that? So thinking about that, Tailwind has a really good approach. So basically, every time that Tailwind is gonna be built, the final file that's gonna be outputted, if we use this purge function here, we're gonna be basically passing a common path to it. And that common path is gonna be purging all of the unused properties that we are not using on our project. So the idea is we are gonna have the exact CSS that we are using on our project. And that's awesome. So let me show you guys what's the advised. It already has here. The advised path gonna be basically taking all of the JS, GSX, DS, TSX files inside of source, and we are gonna be also purging all of the unused properties inside index.html on our public file. So we are gonna be pasting this here. This here is gonna be improving the sizing of our final output by a lot. Okay, and that's the key thing to Tailwind CSS. It's really optimized. It's really a tool that's increasing popularity because it really is painless to your application to add it to it, and that's something that we were looking for a long time. This here we can have like a different and separate talk about it, but just for you guys to know, Tailwind CSS already have a dark mode enabler, and that basically have two options: media and class. So media is gonna be taking the user media information. So if the user has like a dark mode enabled on his phone or his system, you are gonna have that setting applied to your application. And class is gonna be like if you want to control that yourself on your application. Okay, so and all this down here, it's basically settings that you can expand on your application, and you're gonna be coming back to this if we have time at the end. Okay, so this is the configuration file. This is basically all we need to do on this file here, just to have it running. And if we go down here, it's saying that on our index CSS file, we just need to basically be using the Tailwind directives to import the packages that we want to use on our. So this is the whole configuration here. I know that I talked a lot, but you can do that easily on 2 minutes if you want. And we also have like some pre-templates of this exact bootstrap here. So having all this and spinning our application back again, we are gonna have already Tailwind working for us. So let's make sure of it. And here we are gonna have this on the side. So yeah, as you guys can see, we already have some difference because now it's everything is way flatter than it was before. But Tailwind is gonna be basically like resetting our CSS, and as you guys see here, we are not doing components. We are doing pure customization by ourselves. Okay, and now let's the fun begin. So, okay, Arthur, you talked a lot about Tailwind, and you talk a lot about this one here. But yeah, let's use it, and let's use it. So if you guys use VS Code, one extension that I highly advise you guys to use is the Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, this one here. It's usually on top, but mine's already installed, so it's gonna be down here. This here, as you guys are gonna see right now, makes your life very, very, very easy. Okay, so the idea here is you're gonna be basically passing class names to our components. Okay, and here we are basically talking about our whole application, and we can already do some pretty fun things here. So let's say that I want to have the width to be the entire screen that we are working with. Let's start with that. So yeah, how do I use it? So you can go back to the docs and basically navigate through there. I'm gonna have this down to the side. It's gonna be easier this way. But I already have this this extension here, and we're gonna be using it as we go through. So basically, Tailwind works on a really descriptive way. So if I want to change the width, what I would think about it? I would usually type width, right? But Tailwind makes things, as we are going to be using a lot of classes, it shortens a lot of things. So if I can't go with width, what if I go with W? So if I go with W here, you guys are going to see that the extension already popped a lot of things here. So basically, this is going to be setting default sizing for us. So this one here is width 0 pixels. This one here is 0 to 25 RAM. And as you guys are going to see, a lot of this is already responsive aware. So kudos for them on that as well. So we're going to be using screen, okay? Because I want 100 VH here. And just to test our application, let's do a BG, a background something, okay? So BG, I'm going to now type the color that I want. Let's say red. And as you guys can see here, I have a lot of different numbers after it. So basically, Tailwind already generates like a palette for you. And that's cool. That's awesome. So let's use this one here just to make sure that this is working. This is working. So we already have it there. So we are not going to be using a red background for this one, but we are going to be surely going through with this. So I want to also have my height being on the screen side, and I'm going to have the BG being white here. And this is one of the best things also about Tailwind. You guys are going to see that I'm going to be designing all this thinking about the mobile first approach, and then we are going to be doing the responsiveness with like little to no configuration after it. Okay, so basically here I'm gonna be just setting some things to the information that I want, and if I want to like work with display types, well, I wanted to use display flex, so I type flex. I want to use flex column here because it's gonna be the orientation that makes more sense here. So I can just select flex call. And as you guys can see, now I want to align everything on the in the middle, and I also want to be justifying everything to the middle. So I already positioned all of my elements by just putting some classes here. And I'm gonna be stopping our current application here just to talk about one thing. A lot of people tell, hey, but TailWindCSS pollutes a lot our applications because you're gonna have all of those classes like in every single component. But let's talk a little bit more about what pollution is. So pollution is everything that makes pollution on the code on the code area. Is everything that makes harder for you to understand what's being displayed there or what's being developed there. And the idea here is the complete opposite, because all of these names here are really descriptive. We are not creating anything new. We are not accessing any new properties here. We are only using things that are already baked into CSS. So if anybody is told, hey, try to expand on the things that you are seeing. So if you ask somebody, hey, W screen, what do you think that is? Or W full, what do you think that is? And the person can't be like, he can't be deceived by the first iteration of it. But as you have that consistently on your application, it's easier to understand. And that's the key point here. This here, and I'm talking this as a complete like illiterate and a complete newbie on front end because I'm not working with it for a while. So as I said, if any front end engineers are on the chat, you guys are probably way better than me. But from my standpoint, this is pretty clean code to see. I can understand everything that's being done here. I don't have like any obscure class that's doing all different kinds of CSS transformations, and then we are gonna have like more specificity of any one of those. Because let's be honest, guys, debugging CSS is a pain. It's not something fun. It's not cool, especially when you use a lot of different CSS files in a React application, for example. So you have a central CSS file that's resetting, desetting. Then you go to your component-specific CSS file, and on that component-specific CSS file, you have a different setting that's overriding that. That's hard. That's hard to follow. That's hard to see what's happening, and that's the basic idea around this here. So that's the idea that that's the main idea that I wanted to discuss with you guys. So I'm gonna continue to expand on this, just to prove you guys that this is possible to be understood, and I'm gonna be interacting with you guys. So if anybody is really shy, no worries, but I'm gonna be asking you guys some questions. So please try to answer it, and would be great if especially the people that are not familiar with TailWindCSS would answer some of those questions. Okay. So we already did that. So I already see that here on our mobile site, this next section here is basically the section that's gonna have all of the prompt that I have for my user. Okay, so it makes sense for in this view, this section here occupy the full width of this application here. So I'm gonna be asking first somebody that doesn't have experience with TailWindCSS. So anybody that didn't work with Tailwind before, which property you think that width to the full size is gonna be here on TailWindCSS without reading the docs, without knowing it? So I want to have my width, and I want it to be taking the full extent of the space it has to occupy. So anybody?
W screen, like you put it.
Yeah, W screen here is taking 100% of the viewport width. Okay, so I want to have the full size, not the whole viewport width.
W100, maybe?
W100, let's see. So W100, not yet, not there yet. So if I want to have the width to its full,
Yeah.
so
yes.
maybe with it full.
With
Oh,
full. Makes
yeah.
sense.
So we did here 3 tries, okay, with people that are not proficient in Tailwind at all, and we did it. We now have the property of width 100, okay, and that's the magic behind it. So the same is gonna be for the height. So I want my height to occupy 75% of my of the size it has to be. It has to do it. So most likely I'm gonna see 75. Oh, it doesn't exist. I'm not seeing documentation here. I'm just trying it out. So let's try. So 75 of 100 of 100 is it's what? It's 3/4, right? So maybe it exists. Oh, it exists. So here I have the confirmation. It's 75%. So let's go. I already have it. So I want to also use display flex. This is the easier one. It's just the name, display flex. And I also have it. Want to have it on flex columns. Also easy. And I want to have the items at the center. Pretty easy stuff, right? Pretty descriptive stuff. But right now we are doing all that with only divs. So now let's expand on here. We have a text that we are not even seeing because we set up our text to white. So I'm gonna tell you guys later why I did that this way. But let's first see this text here. So if I want to change the text color, I would go for maybe text color. Oh, doesn't exist. So maybe we do the color name after text. It makes sense because BG was BG and the color. So maybe that's the way. So here, oh, that's the way. Here it is. So we are gonna be using gray, and I want to be using gray. Let's see this color here because I can already see the colors here. There's no catch up to that. So I want to have this gray here. So yeah, now it's appearing there, but it's too small. So let's first change the font, right? So the font, oh, I already have a lot of different fonts here. So I'm gonna be using only like pre-standard things here. So let's use font mono. Okay, great. And after that, let's see one other thing. I want this text to be bigger. So probably I'm gonna be accessing it through text. And here is already the hint. Oh, they have sizes for it. And those sizes are really increasing. So maybe let's see like Excel. What's large for them? Oh, large is not that hard, that large. I want it to be way larger. So I saw that we have when we access it, we have numbers modifying it. So the higher the number, the higher it is. Okay, so here let's see this one here. So Ramiz asked using hex code for color. Actually, yeah, they have. They are actually using. If you hover over the properties, you have here whichever CSS modification this is doing. So basically, setting the opacity to 1, and is having RGBA this by setting the opacity. And they do that because they want you to be able to manipulate that opacity with another property as well. So that's the thing for this here. And yeah, now it's way better to see, but it's I would prefer it to be like more bolder. So let's try to have like font. Let's search for bold. Oh yeah, the good of the extension is this. So here you can see, oh, font bold. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool like that. And I have variations of boldness as well. So I know, for instance, that I can do extra light, extra bold. So here I'm gonna have it way bolder than it is. But as you guys can see, all that we are doing here are pretty standard CSS things, but we are not worrying about tinkering about what we are doing with that CSS property. That's the key thing. I just want this text to be bold and large, and have a specific color, and that's what we are doing here. I'm not caring about color accuracy, color palette, all that. All this, the Tailwind team paid really huge amounts of money to really good designers to do it for us. So here we only care about making our application look professional. And after that, let's see. I also know that I'm gonna be needing a margin top. So maybe M is margin, and maybe top is T. Oh, MT. So this is a property that I'm accessing here. So margin top. And here I can use one of those numbers. So 2rem seems plausible, seems good. So yeah, we basically here now did all of the configuration of our application like that. So the same thing to the form that we're gonna have here. So for this form place, I want to have the BG set to white. But Arthur, the BG is already white there. You guys are gonna see. And here now, guys, I know that I'm going a little slower, on a slower pace at the start, but now I'm gonna be speeding it up little by little. Okay, just for you to be able to finish all this during it. So basically here I already know that I have text weight 900 because I also want to be able to see my content there. I want to have my height to be middle of it. I want my width to be full. I want my margin top to be 16 because I want it to have a better spacing on it, and I also want to have a rounded div wrapping it. So basically I'm gonna have this, and I'm also gonna have padding around all of the element by 8. Okay, that's the output that I have here. On our form, let's see. Yeah, it makes sense on our form to have to set some properties on it as well. So the first thing that I'm gonna be doing, I'm just gonna be skipping because one thing that I need to do, it's bothering me. This image is way too big. so let's tackle that first because this is really taking me like crazy. So basically here we are gonna have the height set to 1/3. That way it's gonna be properly set up there, and we are gonna have also this like this, but we have to have a proper sizing on our form for that work. So because now it's occupying all of the space it has. So our form is gonna have the height of full and the width of full. That way it's already contained and configured there. So okay, we already have our image where it should be. Okay, and now on our form we can also expand. We want it to be flex. We want to be we want to use flex call here. We also want to have the items set to the center, and we also want to have the justify set up to the center. Okay, so yeah, way better. now we are breathing a little bit. So after the image we have a label there as well. The label, we just need to make it pop a little bit more. So let's give it a class name of a text large, extra large, and let's make it bold. Okay, who you want to spy. And after that, we're gonna have the input as well. So with the input, we are gonna have it basically like this. We want the background to be gray, 200. And we also wanted to have a small rounding behind it, just to make it pop a little bit. And after that, we want to also have margin of 8, just to position it properly on our screen, give it a little more depth. And we also want to have the height of 12 and the width of full on this sizing. I want my text to be center, and I also want my outline to be none. Okay, so here we're gonna have outline none because it's standard. So now I click it, it doesn't have an outline anymore. Great, we are doing good progress here. Now, because as I said to you guys, I'm really bad with design. I'm stressing this out a lot because this for me here, it's already cool, but if I needed to do this by myself, I would be brain dead by 1.5 hours because I'm really bad with it. So this is a guts, and that was sent to us, just making standards easier to work with. And differently from Bootstrap, we are not learning anything new. We are not learning the concept of Bootstrap of containers and working with it. We are not creating anything new. The only thing Tailwind's doing for us is having more prepared people doing the design for you. That's the catch. And they are optimizing the overall CSS experience for us. So after this, now going deeper on this, we are gonna be basically now on the button side of things. We're gonna be expanding, and we are gonna be let's first having it take the full width, and let's give it a background because we need to see it. So I'm gonna be using blue 800 here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But now I need the text to be white. It shouldn't be that one. And I also want the height of it to be 16. Yeah, way better. And after it, I want it to be, let's see, this one here I didn't did in advance, but I think I want it to be rounded a little bit. Yeah, round is gonna be, it's gonna be better, way better. And I also want the font to be semi-bold because it's too thin the way it is right now. Yeah, I think that's cool. That's fine for me. So it's way better than it was before, right? It's way better. And with the user data here, let's search for somebody. Actually, anybody on the call, give me your GitHub username. It's gonna be funnier that way. The first one that types on the on the Google call. Come on, guys, don't be shy. I know we have images there. Okay, we have Luis. So thank you, Luis. So it's gonna be Luis Felipe. And yeah, this is the one. Just confirm first, because I don't want to be making compliments on people that I don't know. I just want to compliment you. Okay, so I assume this is fine. I assume this is our this is your profile. So now that we have the user data here, it's gonna be easier to have this set up for us. So basically here, what I want to be doing first with this div, I want to basically position it like the other that we had there. So I want the width to be full. I want this to be taking half of the screen height-wise. And I also want the BG to be white. I want the text to be gray 700. And that's basically it. And we're gonna continue doing all that. It's pretty fun, right? It's pretty awesome. But I want to basically center everything. This is something that myself, as I have like no idea of being like a good designer, I usually center everything that way. It's easier to deal with. I know it's pretty boring, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna have margin around it, and I'm gonna also have it not margin around it. I want to have the text to be different, not margin. What I'm doing here, yeah, that's, oh god, I lost. I lost it. Sorry. So yeah, no, I'm on the right place. Sorry about that. So I want the margin to be 16, and I want the height to be 3/4. Guys, I have a little snippet of it, so bear with it with me about it. So yeah, now we're gonna be doing all sorts of formatting here, and as we're not gonna be innovating by any means, I'm gonna be copying the full thing. The full thing, because I think we have good things to go forward now, to move forward now. So basically, I'm gonna be doing sorry about that. I'm copying the right thing. Yeah, like this. Okay, so this is the final version of it. Okay, so pretty simple, pretty standard. It is pretty presentable. So let's say that you have a quick project and you need to present this to somebody. So this is what we have right now, and it's pretty fun the way it is right now. And as you guys can see, when I make this big, now it's odd, right? And now we enter on the thing that all front-end developers love to talk about: responsive design. And responsive design is usually a pain to work with. If you're using with bare bones CSS, it's easy because you do it a lot, but it's usually a pain to work with. Let's be honest. So my idea here is I have these two big divs here. I have the form side, and I have also the result side. Okay, so let's see some of the other names that we have here. We have Lucas here. I think it's, yeah, it's fine right now. We have also Isake. Yeah, we have some, and this is working, okay? But my idea here is on bigger screen sizes that we have this side by side. It makes sense, right? It's exactly what we would expect of a design like this. And usually responsive design is something that people don't do because they either forget about it, or they either don't care to do the whole setup it's needed to do it. Okay, because you need to be taking screen sizes, and you need to do all that. And Tailwind is really awesome on that matter as well, because basically what they give to us out of the box is you have screen sizes here as modifiers. Okay, so the idea here is the following. Okay, I want all this to be on my base application, and I want on different breakpoints to add the new configuration. For this example, we are gonna be doing only large, okay, just to make it more dynamic. But you can add this for all different iterations of it. So the idea here is if I type XL, okay, it's gonna say here, it's gonna take the min width of 100 of 1280 pixels large for us. And the idea here is gonna be exactly like that. I'm gonna be using this pseudo selector here to basically say what I want to happen on that breakpoint. So here I want my flex to go from flex column to flex row. That's the first thing that I want to do. So here I type flex row like this. Okay, I save it, and now if I go to the, oh, it's like magic. So here you guys can see small breakpoint to the side. Breakpoint to the side. It's really easy to work like that. And we have pseudo selectors for a lot of things. If you want to do hover, we are gonna be doing it, right? Let's do it right now, actually. Let's, because our button right now, if we hover it, it doesn't give any visual feedback. That's clear. That's the place that you want to be clicking on. So what we're gonna be doing here is basically taking, let me just move this down here. Let me actually take this out. It's gonna be easier for us to work with. So let me have that with that there, and let's have it like this. So what we want to be doing is basically saying, hey, button, on the hover state, let's have a different color for it. So I can do that pretty simply, like this. So the only thing that I want to be doing here is going to the button, okay? I hover it, don't have any feedback. Go here, use the hover pseudo selection, and here I'm gonna be basically doing BG blue, and let's say 500, okay? 500, it's lighter because this is a darker tone. So I pass through it. Oh, let me just get out from it. Yeah. So I hover it, I click it, it's like that. Right now it's on the device mode. Let me take it out. Yeah, I hover it. Now it has a proper hover coloring for us. And we can even do transitions like this. So if I go here and do transition, I like to let all my pseudocodes at the end. So if I go here and do transition, and I can also say the duration of the transition. So let's say I want this to transition in 500 milliseconds. That's gonna take a while. Yeah, that takes a lot of time. But I want to have it faster. So 50. Yeah, but smoother. It's smoother right now. And I also want to ease that. So I can use ease in out. So as you guys can see, a lot of difficult CSS properties like this we are doing a transition timing function that's using a cubic Bezier, and here you have a lot of different animation breakpoints to do this transition for us. And I didn't have to set that. If I needed to like do that by myself, I would need to go to the documentation, and I basically would need to like being paying for at least half an hour to do this. So the idea here is ease of doing what you are doing. So basically focusing on your application itself. Okay. So, and the other thing that I want to have a proper separation between my content when we are here. So I can on the Excel here also give a background of gray 900. Okay, and here down here I'm gonna be doing other of the same modifications to the other one. Thales mentioned this is the dream for DevOps folks. Yeah, this is a dream actually for anybody that's not like a design heavy or that has a design background, because let's be honest, guys, you can be a really good front-end developer, but CSS is gonna be always your doom. You can have like 15 years of experience. It's gonna be always the worst part of your job. It's gonna be that one. So now the idea is I want to basically have those occupy half the screen when I'm on that breakpoint, and I'm gonna be doing all of the responsive things here now. Okay, so I want this text here to be text white, and I also want this. Let me remember where I want to be setting that. Yeah, I want this here to be on Excel height 1/2. I'm trying to speed it up just to not take any time for you guys to for the arena. But basically here we are gonna be just adjusting things that we want to be honest. That's the basic idea of it. So we can have that. We can also have here, as you guys see, when I click it, we have this outline, okay? So if we go down here to the button, we can take that out pretty easily also. So that's the focus selector. And here I want to have the outline none. Okay, that's the idea here. And by the last, I think the only other modifications we need to do is on the div down here, because yeah, it makes sense, because now we are going to be dealing with a different basic distribution of this. So we're going to be doing this half, and yeah, I think that's basically it. Let's see. It's time. Let's see if we increase this. Yeah, way better. Now it looks like a proper application. So now if I want to go back to the device mode, I can see that here we have the breakpoint, and here we have it occupying all the time, doing resizing, doing all of that. So basically the idea is this, guys. The talk itself, I was kidding about all that, but I'm not kidding about being really bad with design. And by being that bad, I had a lot of time spent trying to make things look cool, look pretty, and Tailwind really helps to remedy that. So you can do pretty cool things. And I have like 5 more minutes, so Maya, probably I'm gonna be stealing 5 more minutes for the other time, but I want to show you guys other things about it. So as you guys can see, for everybody that's seeing it through the stream, on my stream I have this up here of my camera. I actually did that. Elson mentioned that he was on the live streams. I did that on my live streams with my audience, and this is because I stream to several platforms at once. So the idea here is I'm gonna open my Discord channel, and I'm gonna type a message there, and you guys are gonna see that the message is gonna be popping there. So that's the whole idea of that overlay. because I wanted all of my audiences to be able to interact with themselves, and that was the crucial idea for it. So if I type here, hey guys from XFIT, you guys are gonna see it's gonna be popping another screen there, and all that was done with bare bones React.js, a lot of suffering, and TailWindCSS. So those were the three tools that I used for that, and I want to show you guys a little bit about that code, because that code has some specificities that we can expand on. So let me just navigate pretty quickly to the to that. And actually, if any of you guys want to stream and want to use this tool here, and actually this tool here and this other tool here as well. So you guys are gonna see, if you guys type any message right now, I'm gonna leave the screen like that. If you guys type any message, it's gonna be like a prompter here, like the ones that you see in television, for instance. So I'm gonna be typing some here as well. So some messages, and you guys are gonna see it's gonna be feeding from here. So you guys should also be already aware that on both of those solutions, we are using from whichever platform the person is to basically set up the coloring of the chat boxes here, upside here, or the names down there. And that was used and that was done using TailWindCSS, and I want to show you guys there because that's a pretty interesting piece of code, because I had a lot of pain to solve it. So I want to basically show you guys what you can expect there. So basically, the way that I'm doing that, when I go to my components, okay, I have these those components, and those components of message and prompt, they receive. This is a way more complex code here, but basically, I'm receiving through WebSockets all the information about which chat is it's sending whichever is being sent here, and I extract the platform from that from that payload. So I have Discord, Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I basically did a really interesting thing. I went here to the Tailwind configuration, and you guys already I mentioned that I would expand on this configuration file. So you guys can see this theme here. The colors and all that in Tailwind, it's completely customizable. And that's awesome. And what I did, I basically took the colors, the official colors from YouTube, Discord, Twitch, and LinkedIn, and created those here under the colors option of the themes. And what this is gonna be doing, every place in Tailwind that you can use a color, you are gonna now have a color YouTube to use. So you can have a whole palette that yourself created. So just for instance, I'm gonna show you guys that. So if I go here and I try to use text YouTube, you're gonna see that I have here the color here. But I also have the BG YouTube here, and we also have one option because here I didn't use it, but you have the option to create a whole shade based on the color, on the custom color that you created, and that's pretty fun. That's where for me Tailwind really it's a good catch, because you can expand on the current customizing it already have. So the idea here is I basically set up all of these colors, and here I set up some fixed sizing, because that's what I'm using to stream to OBS. But the thing here that's pretty fun is the way these colors are being constructed, because here, as you guys can see, I'm doing that dynamically. And TailWindCSS says to you to specifically try to not do that, because that's gonna land you to issues that I faced. So the idea here is the border of this little the coloring of the border is like this. You can type border green, for example, and then you can have the color here. The idea here from myself was, oh, I want the color of YouTube to be red. I want the color of Discord to be the Discord's color. So the idea here is that dynamically we are constructing the class name here, and that's fine. That's something pretty standard of doing with JS frameworks. JS tools. Sorry about that, because a lot of people are really triggered by calling React a framework. But the idea here is the following: when the TailWindCSS is being built, we don't have any border YouTube being used on our whole application. We don't have a color Discord being used. We don't have those properties being used. Because all that is dynamic. So what Tailwind's gonna be doing with the purge, it's gonna be taking that out from our code. And I was with my live stream and I was like, oh, I don't have the colors on the deployed version of this here, because on the deployed version, it's using only the exported the build version of TailWindCSS. So this is a pretty interesting thing, because that I needed to basically create these options here. That's a property of Tailwind, to have a safe list, and that safe list basically says the following: all the properties that have Discord, YouTube, Twitch. This is regex for everybody. So you can have like more in-depth filtering here, but basically I'm saying, hey, all of these colors here don't purge. That's the idea of this whole thing here. So this is one of the hiccups that you guys can find while using it, but as you guys can see, the solution to it is pretty simple. And one thing that I didn't show you guys is if I go here to my build, and I go here to my static CSS, here you guys are gonna see how this CSS is being built. Okay, so basically it's taking all of that content from Tailwind, and it's creating here. It's simple like that. But the CSS size, it's pretty small, because it's only creating the properties that we are using on our project. Okay, so that's basically my TED Talk. I know that I talk a lot. Sorry, Maya, for passing some minutes. Sorry, guys, if you by any chance expected like a really in-depth programming session or all that, and you received CSS TED Talk. But from my perspective, it's a pretty broader discussion, because, as I said, the main point of my talk, I started talking about design and how to do pretty things if you are incapable of doing of having a design taste. But the major idea is not that. The major idea is that code readability don't translate to having less things on your code base. It translates to being able to understand every single piece of what your code are doing. So as you guys can see here, there's a lot of wording here, but this is understandable. You can see what's happening here, and that's the key point. And if somebody now on the street stops you and say, hey, Tailwind CSS, it hurts the code readability. It hurts the separation of concerns. No, you have all this here. The separation of concerns here, it's not in a file. It's in a property. It's under class name. You know by instance here that you don't need to be navigating CSS files to find one property. You just need to see which class names that component has, and that's all there. That's on your face. So that's the major idea of what I wanted to pass today. My name's Arthur. If anybody has any other questions, you're free to drop them in to me directly. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Arthur, for taking the time.